Okay, welcome to the channel. I'm going to go over some trades that were done today, well, this morning before the market even opened. We had three trades. The first one, SXTP. Now, right here, we have the pre-market movers, and then we have the top press releases. But during pre-market, what you want to do is you want to click on pre-market movers. Now, this is cached because it will stop scanning after 9:30. It just won't scan. And then we have RVOL movers. Now the RVOL movers, I mean, right now we've got DTCK and QTTP. So what you want to do is you want to open up those two windows pre-market. I usually try to open them up around 6:30. All right, so what you want to do is you want to look at pre-market movers and RVOL movers during pre-market. But right now, I've got the biggest movers and I've got the top press releases. So the first trade was SXTP. Now it showed up on the scanner right here, and that is because this 1 minute bar had a volume of 200,000, and the rest of the volume is like 2,000, 100, 600, think 500, things like that. So the volume, it's just not there. Well, we had a little bit of volume, but right here, pre-market, we have large volume. So this, it's going to pop up on the scanner right here. Now we had a slight pullback, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for pullbacks. So if you jump down to a 10, 15, 20-second chart, I usually do the 15-second chart. What you're looking for is a slight micro pullback. And that's what we got here. Right here, we opened up and we had a slight pullback. So when you jump into, you got to be quick with these because you got to have your charts up and you got to have your level 2 where you're going to be executing your orders. You got to be up quick and you got to move quick and you have to make decisions quickly. That's why paper trading this and getting used to how this trades is key. Because right here we had a micro pullback and it was like an inside bar because the high here it didn't break and then the low here didn't break. We had an inside bar. Now we had some volume coming in and it was selling, which a little concerning, not much. But what I was thinking is if we break the high here, we can make a run up to 4.5. Now, what I was thinking that once we broke 4, we could go to 4.5. Now, this bar right here, once it opened up, we came down to about right here, but we didn't break the low of here, and we have some nice volume. So once we broke that high right there, once we broke this, once we broke that, you have to look at the level 2 to see the asks being hit. Once we actually break it, you want to go ahead and get in. Now, what I did, how I played it was I played the break of that, and then once we started popping, and then once we popped and I got 20 cents, I was selling. Now, let's say you get in with 1,000 shares, and let's say that's like 3,800, because you get in here at like 380. Let's say it's 3,800. Let's say you jump in 1,000 shares and it starts popping and it gets up to 20 cents real quick. You got 1,000 shares, start selling. You want to sell into these pops. And there's a main reason why, because if it starts dumping, it's hard to get out because you cannot use market orders. It's pre-market. You have to use limit orders and you got to put in mental stops. That's why you want to sell into these pops. Once it gets like 10, 15, 20 cents, you want to start selling like 2, 4, 6. You want to be selling, what I would do if it was 1,000 shares, I'd be selling 200 at a clip. Once it got 10 cents, 200 shares gone. 15, 20 cents, 200 gone. So you want to do that 2, 4, 6. Because right here, it closed for about 30 cents. But once it started popping there, I started getting out. Now you're looking at like 200,000 shares right here, 163. But the thing is, right here, you had another inside bar because it didn't break the high. Of course, it didn't break the low. It didn't even get back to the break even. Now it dipped down and tried to get back to the break even. That's when I started, once it started coming down close to my break even, I was dumping it. I was getting out. There is no way I'm going to let a winning trade that I just got to pop and sell at 2, 4, 6. Once this starts retracing back, there's absolutely no way I'm going to let it turn into a loser. I don't care if I walk away with just 10 cents. It's going to be a winner. And that's the way you have to act. Because right here, we got the pop. Did we get the pop once we broke $4? Yeah, we broke $4 and we got up to here to 4.25. We got up here to 440 and we started retracing back right back down to the break even. And of course, we got the pop to 450. But then nice topping tail and we sold off. So that's how that was played. You got to look at this one when this volume comes in and this candle opens up and it pops up on the RVOL scanner down here. You got to bring up the trade. You got to look at it. You're looking at it like right here as it's starting to sell off, and you have to look at this and you have to look at the volume to see what that looks like. And you got a 5-minute candle that is, of course, pushing up, but you're looking at the yellow VWAP. It's holding the VWAP, came down, touched it. This opened up. We broke the VWAP slightly, and then we didn't make the low here, but I was thinking we got the volume coming in, breaks this high, I can try and get a 10-cent pop. Now, I got more than that, but that's how you want. Once it gets that pop, you need to start selling, and once you get 10, 15, 20 cents, do not let it turn into a losing trade. If you sell half and you only make 10 cents and it starts coming back to your break even, get out. Just get out. Move on to the next trade. These trades happen every single day. Well, I wouldn't. These happen just about every single day. You're going to get a decent trade. You just got to be patient. If you get to your desk at 7 o'clock, well, you should get to your desk at like 6:30. But at 7 o'clock, that's when traders start coming in, is at 7 o'clock. But you should be at your desk. I'm at my desk at 6:30 with my coffee, getting awake, looking at it, getting settled in. Because the news comes out at 6, 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, and 9. And traders, some brokers don't allow traders to start trading until after 7. So this trade happened at 7:02. We got a pop. So that was SXTP. Okay, let's move on to the next trade. Next trade was BCTX. As you can see, BCTX. BCTX was kind of hard to play because right here we had the 1 minute and we had volume at 143,000. Of course, you got like 100K, 300, 900 volume. So it showed up on RVOL scanner. Right here, we opened up. Right here. If you jump over to the 15-second chart, you can see right here in the crosshair, that's where we opened up. The problem, as soon as I brought this up, I saw this candle right here because I brought up the chart and we have a wick right here. That's a little concerning, and it's almost about half the candle, so that's a little concerning. We had this candle here with high volume. I mean, with high volume, selling. We had a wick up top and a wick down at the bottom. What that is telling me is that there is a battle between the buyers and the sellers. There's a battle going on between the bid and the ask. And when there's something like this, when you open it up and you see something like this, and then this next 15-second candle, you see a wick on the top and a wick on the bottom, and you got a body right in the middle. Again, that's telling me 30 seconds of a battle between the bidders and the askers. I don't even think that's the word. The bidders and the, yeah. There's a battle between the bid and the ask. When there is a battle like that, you stay away from it. Do not enter the battle. You want to pick your battles and make sure you win them. So, I mean, you could have, because the green candle started picking up volume and it broke the high here. I mean, I did not play this. You could have gotten on the break of this high right here, and you would have gotten yourself like a quarter. Yeah, that great trade. 1,000 shares is $250. 2,000 shares, $500. $500, you're probably good for the day. But the problem is if you get in here, where is your stop? Your stop's way down here. That's like 40 cents. So as soon as I saw this, I'm like, I'm out. I'm not out. As soon as I saw this, I was like, no way. No way I'm trading this. There's a battle. Of course, the volume's picking up, but then we had this pop here. Then we had the sell-off right here. Now, the sell-off right here, yeah, that was pretty big. That was like 50%. Then we had a bullish engulfing candle, and we closed above the VWAP. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe if we break this right here, we can get in because we have the volume picking up. I was like, okay, maybe the buyers are going to win this one. We had a slight pullback here. Volume's drying up. Once I saw that doji candle, I'm like, okay. And then I was thinking about getting in on the break of that candle, but I said, no, don't do it. What I wanted to do was wait for the break of this consolidation area right here. We had a bullish engulfing. We had a nice volume coming in. We had another pullback. We did not break the low. The volume was drying up. The selling was drying up. I was thinking, okay, if we break this with volume, like we did, we started breaking it with volume. Once we broke that, I got in and I was thinking, okay, we can get in and I'm gonna run it up to $3. So what I did was I went on ahead, I got in on this break. It started moving up. I got my 10 cents. I started selling. And then as I can see the wick come down here, I was like, oh, this is going to come back to my break even. And I got out. I got out and I was like, okay, I'm done. And then we opened up, and of course, this candle opened up here. And as soon as it broke that doji right there, I got in again. And then I only got like 5 cents because it pushed up. I was holding it for $3, then started retracing back, and then I just got out for a break even. So that was a very small trade there. But the key thing I want you to understand is it broke this. I took profits. It started coming back down to my break even. And once it got close to that break even, I'm like, man, I got to get out. So you dump the rest of the shares and you don't let it come to your break even. You just dump it. And then I got back in again because there's no problem getting in and out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We got a break of this because I'm looking at the volume. We got a break of that because it started coming down to my break even. I got a little scared. I got out. We started coming back up here with volume. We broke that. We couldn't get to the $3. The level 2 was telling me that we're not going to make it. So we came back to the break even, and I'm out. And sure enough, it dumped. The thing about it is you want to sell into these pops here. You want to sell into these pops. If you play this, sell into the pop. I didn't sell into the pop there because it wasn't that much. It was like 5 cents. I was looking for $3. Once it starts coming back down my break even, I'm getting out. Because right here, if you're holding 10,000 shares right here, right up in here, and it starts getting down to your break even, these are limit orders. You might not be able to get filled until you're like down here. So, and then you're in a losing trade because it's pre-market. You got to put in mental stops, and you can't use market orders. So you have to sell into the pops. Now let's move on to the next trade. Okay, so next trade was XAGE. This was a little hard one to play. We had a pop right here. It showed up on the scanner because it's like 1 million volume. And then these are like, 10, 50,000. So we had 1 million volume coming in. And XAGE, I believe it had news. Now, the thing was, this is the 1 minute. So it showed up here, and then all of a sudden, right here, this candle, I bring it up, and I'm looking at it on the 15-second chart, and I'm seeing a nice big run. We're above VWAP, and we start having a pullback here. So look at this. We started pulling back, and we're not breaking the highs right there. We're not breaking the high. We had a doji. This right here, we had the volume drying up, and I was thinking, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break this, and then we're going to start running up to the high. So as soon as it broke that, we had two dojis. As soon as it broke that one, and it breaks that one too, because I was going off a 2-bar break, I got in, it popped up, I got in, and then all of a sudden I had to get right back out. I had to dump all my shares. I was just frantically hitting the exit hotkey to get out, and I took and right up in here, got in, took a 15-cent loss. Okay, no big deal. So it dumped down, and then I got thinking, okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to wait and see what happens. We have some dojis. The volume's kind of drying up. I was a little shy about getting in, so I waited until it came down closer to the VWAP. Once we put in that 1 minute doji, I was thinking, okay, maybe we can go ahead and break this. So once it made that doji right there, you look at this, you got the break of that doji. I did not get in on the break of that doji. I got in once we started breaking this right here. Once we broke this one, I call this a 2-bar break. Once we broke that right there, and then as I saw the volume right here coming in, that's when I got in right here. Now it started retracing back, but I held it because I was thinking, okay, I've got a 30-cent stop right here. That's not that bad. So then once it starts retracing, once it broke this one right here, once it broke this, because I got in, once it breaks this, I added to the trade because it broke this right here on the 1 minute. Once it breaks, it broke. Now it retraced back down right here. So it retraced back down. So I got in. I was making a little bit of money. It retraced, but didn't get to my stop because I was thinking this area is support. And then once we broke this area right here on this 15-second candle with volume, I added to the trade. Once I added to the trade, it came right up here, 6 1/4. And then I started selling a little bit. Then we had another micro pullback, but if you look at the volume on the 15-second, the volume is low on that selling. And also, if you look at right here, that's where it's going to be right here. We have the volume coming in. So I'm looking in between the 1 minute and the 15-second. Once it broke that, I added to the trade. Here's the thing. You don't add to losers, you add to winners. So if you get in here with 1,000 shares, it retraces back, it didn't hit your stop, but it breaks right here with volume, you can add another 1,000 shares, and that's what you can do. And then it comes right up here. Once it comes up in here, you can start selling. We had another micro pullback. Once it broke this high right here, had a little consolidation, little micro pullback, look at the volume. Once it breaks this area right here, once it breaks, so let's take a look at this. Get in here, okay? That's your starter position. It broke this area. So you get in here, it broke this area, you add to it, your cost average is down here. Once it breaks this one, you can get in and your cost average is lower. And then it breaks here, you can add again. So you can add like 3 times. Starter position, add. Breaks this, add. Because we had a micro pullback, but it broke, thinking your target area is up in here. The high right here, that's what you're looking for, is the high. Once it breaks that, you can add to it. Now, once you add to it, what you're looking for is once you're in here, once you get this popping, you're making 25 cents. Like I've always said, sell into these pops. If you're holding 1,000 shares, start dumping 200, 200, 200, like 2, 4, 600. You'll be holding 400 shares. And then once it starts retracing back, you can hold it. You've already got yourself some profit. You can hold right here, this little indecision candle. You can hold because your cost average is down in here. Once it breaks that low, you get that red candle, you can go ahead and get out the rest of it if you want. That's how you play this. Now, back up in here, we broke, we took a loss. Back up in here, we broke because I waited. I was looking at the 1 minute. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to get in on that candle right there. The volume was drying up on the 1 minute. I'm going to play a 2-bar break. First bar, second bar, the break of that, which is this right here. Do a starter position. Let's say you do 5,000 shares. Let's say you're going to do 5,000 shares. You do 1,000 shares here. Okay. Then it comes up here, retraces back, and then you can start taking a little bit of profit here. It comes back and it breaks that bar. You can add a little bit more, but I just add on the break of this. You can add some back in. You can always do a starter, take a little bit of profit, wait for a pullback. Let's say you're holding 2,000 shares, get a break of this. You can add 1,000 shares. Let's say you're holding 2,000 shares here. You can add 1,000. Now you're holding 3,000 shares. You get a pop, you sell some, get some indecision right here, and you're like, okay, I'm still sitting on some profits. It's not coming back down to my break even. My cost average is good. Once it breaks this, let's say you're holding 3,000, you can add another 1,000. Now you're holding 4,000. So that's what you need to do. Do a starter, add to your position, and you can get a nice trade. That's how you play this. Of course, back here, we took a loser, but then right here, we took a winner. The thing that I want you to understand is you're not going to get, you look at the 1 minute chart and you get this pullback. Realistically, you're not going to get from this move to this move and make $1. I mean, let's be realistic, because hindsight is 2020. Of course, you're like, oh yeah, you can easily make $1, but you do not know that right here. You start getting in right here, and then all of a sudden it start retracing back. So you just don't know. Of course, you can get in here. I like playing the 30-second, the 15-second chart and just getting my small moves and just adding to my position as we're going up. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Just about every day we have a trade coming in. And every day you can, just about every day you can make yourself 10, 15, 20, 25 cents. Now, a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, 25 cents is not a lot. You know, a lot of people think that, oh, I want to make a dollar move. I want to make a dollar move. And it's hard to get that dollar move. It's hard to buy $6 and sell it up to $7. It's easy to look at this chart and say, oh, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, you can get a dollar. But when you're in it and the market's moving fast, and you're looking at a 15-second chart or a 1-minute chart, you have no idea what's going to happen. Some people are going to say, oh, 25 cents is not very much. But if you look at this candle right here, you're looking at like 300,000 shares being traded. You're looking at this, 500,000 shares being traded. So if you go in, and let's say it's a $6 stock, and let's say you go in with like 5,000 shares. 5,000 shares, that's easy to get in and out of. And all you're looking for is 20 cents. You just made $1,000 in a matter of a couple minutes or even less. That is how you play this. But then again, you can lose 1,000 pretty quickly too. So, but that's why you want to ride with the momentum. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.